Well, welcome to Delicious by Debbie, and I am today going to show you how to make probably the easiest breakfast casserole that I make. Actually, we don't eat it just for breakfast. Sometimes we will have it for lunch. We've even had it for supper. It's nice to have it made ahead and you can just cut it and warm it up, take it in your lunch. We've even taken a piece of it and warmed it up and had it for a snack before we go to bed. But it's just so easy, and it is just a delicious casserole. So I thought I would show you how I make that. So let me get you turned down here. All right, got my casserole dish here. It's a 9 by 13, and I'm gonna spray it. I don't want everything to stick to it, and this does tend to stick, so I'm gonna spray this casserole dish good. Then our first ingredient is crescent rolls. I actually buy, excuse me, I actually buy the 90 calorie reduced fat. Every time I spray that cooking spray, it makes me cough, so there must be something in it I'm kind of allergic to. But this is what we're gonna put in the bottom of the casserole, is this. We're just going to take it out of the tube and unroll it and lay it in the bottom of our 9 by 13 pan. And you will see some of the holes, the perforated spots where you would tear those apart and use them as crescent rolls, but we're going to pinch those spots together so that our mixture won't go down through them. This is probably one of my husband's favorite breakfast casseroles that I make. And it's easy. You can make it the night before, bake it the next morning, or go ahead and bake it and just warm it up in the morning, which is usually what we do, because now it's what, 3 in the afternoon? No, it's noon now here, and I'm making it now, and we've already had lunch. So this will be for our breakfast for the next number of mornings, or snacks, or whatever we decide to do. All right, the next is the meat, and you can use any kind of meat, breakfast meat that you want to. You can use cooked crumbled sausage, you can use ham, you can use bacon, you can use turkey sausage. I've made it with all of those. Today, I cooked a ham this weekend, and I have leftover ham. And so I have cut it up in chunks. I have a cup of it here, and I'm gonna pour that in here. Kind of mix that around. That should give it a nice flavor. And I also have some bacon bits that I buy from Sam's Club, and I'm gonna put a half a cup of bacon bits in there too. So we're gonna make this really taste good. All right. Now I'm gonna put a tablespoon of minced dried onion on it. This is optional. If you don't want the onion in it, you don't have to do it. You can use fresh onion. Fresh green onions, once the garden gets going, is also very good on it. And I'm going to use a half of a teaspoon of minced garlic, or you can use fresh, whichever you prefer, or you don't have to use it at all. These are all optional spices. You can use whatever spices you want to. And I am a lover of herbs de Provence that I get in Amish country. So I'm gonna put a half of a teaspoon of that, sprinkle that around on it. All right. And then we're gonna take 2 cups of shredded cheese. I have cheddar. You can use Monterey Jack, any kind of cheese you want to use. And if you like to spice it up a little bit, you could use a hot cheese. I'm going to use these 2 cups of shredded cheddar. And you might say, oh, that's an awful lot of cheese. Well, you know, let's get real here. What's not to love about cheese? Cheese is what makes it good. All right, 2 cups of cheese. Now I want 4 eggs, and I want to beat those up. All right, and 4 eggs and 3/4 of a cup of milk. Mine happens to be skim milk, doesn't really matter. And I'm gonna whisk those together. All right, and to that, I'm going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. Now the ham and bacon bits both have enough salt in them that I'm not going to use too much. I'm only going to use 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt in this, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of black pepper. I'll whisk those in. All right, and then I'm going to pour that over the top of this. Don't worry if it doesn't look like it's all covered. It will bake up just fine. So there we are. We're all ready to put this in the oven, and the oven is set at 375, and I'm going to bake this for, I believe, 30 minutes or 35. Let me look here real quick. 25 to 30. Mine usually has to bake more like 30 minutes. So I'm gonna, and I think I put more meat in it, and so that may be why it takes a little bit longer. But I'm gonna pop this in the oven for 25 to 30 minutes, and then we'll be back. This is our finished breakfast casserole, and as soon as it cools a little bit, I'll cut a piece of it to show you. All right, we're ready to cut a piece of this casserole and see what we've got here. I ended up having to cook this between 35 and 40 minutes. I put a knife into the middle of it, and if it's still runny in there, I cook it some more. And it took probably a good 37, 38 minutes. You can see the ham in it, the cheese, and the crust around the edge. That's so good. Very easy to make, very good. I just wanted to get back on here and do an update on my breakfast casserole. My husband just came from his office for a few minutes and stopped in. He's like, what'd you make? And so I told him he had to make sure he took some. I would say he enjoyed that. I told you that was one of his favorites. I also wanted to show you that today, while I was baking that, I had 4 pounds, I have more than that, but I had 4 pounds of pork sausage, 2 Italian and 2 regular. And I put all 4 of those frozen solid, just unwrap them and put them in my Instant Pot, put a cup of water in it, and I cooked those for 20 minutes, then did a rapid release, crumbled them all up and have them ready to freeze. And I have 4 bags. But there they are. I have all 4 pounds of them ready to go in the freezer. All crumbled up, cooked. So anytime we want a casserole, sausage gravy and biscuits, my husband likes to have scrambled eggs with sausage and cheese in it once in a while for breakfast. So I'll be all ready to go.